So I think it's only fair.
It's only fair.
Or not proper.
It's only proper.
It's only expected that
it's only expected in the first week. Like if a week goes by, then it's like
I feel like if anything that
news.
happens that's new, if it's been a week since it happened, you shouldn't talk about it anymore.
Actually, with podcasting, especially if it's like 4 days later, there's so many people who already talked about it. So in 4 days, people came out with like opinions So you kind of have to do it like the same day or the next day.
But at the same time, there's people that probably like maybe people want to specifically know what that person's opinion is on the matter, even if it's late or not. You know what I mean? They still care to know what that person thinks.
Why do you think people even care about what other people think about something?
People make a connection with whoever they're listening to.
A lot of people base their opinions off of whoever the favorite person is.
Like whoever their favorite person is.
If Alia said this album is not good, they're going to think,
it's going to make them think it might not be good.
Maybe it's not that good. But we're gonna get into that.
Anyway, so if for context, if you're probably like, I don't understand what you guys are talking about, we are going to talk about the new Drake album.
Came out 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
It came out the day before yesterday.
Okay.
Friday. Wait, yesterday was Friday. Did it come out Friday? No, it came out Thursday.
Friday night.
Really?
On Thursday, every album comes out on.
No. It came out Thursday night because you listened to it Thursday night, and I listened to it Friday during the day.
But either way, it's always on Friday, East Coast.
Oh,
they go by
Friday
East Coast.
at midnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so we haven't really talked about it to each other yet because we want to save our impressions truly for the podcast.
Okay. You want to start? And I don't know. I kind of know where you are.
Well, we kind of like talked about it a little bit.
But there's so many people that I've talked to.
Yeah.
And there's like so many different opinions.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, a lot of those people are like from my Instagram. Okay. So if you just happen to listen to this.
Oh, when you follow them or something? Or they've said their opinion or what?
No, yeah, like we talked about it.
Oh, you talked about it directly.
So I'm going to mention a couple of those people. Not by their name.
Yeah, but like what they thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if you're listening, I probably, you helped us out with this little segment here.
Oh my God. Okay, so I didn't want to talk about it. Like I wanted, with anytime music comes out, or like especially someone as big as Drake, you need a few times to be able to, and some time to just like listen to it in different settings. You got to listen, like always the first listen, it's not enough to form an opinion. I personally
it's really not.
It's not enough because sometimes I hear something for the first time and I'm like,
But why is that? Like, how come the first time I listen to something and it doesn't hit
because
at all?
It's like first impression. I don't know.
But then the second day or the third day, it's like almost...
Or like the second or third time you listen to it again. Because you've already heard it, so now you kind of really like, okay, let me like go into it one more time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yesterday, I've actually only been listening to Drake's album.
Okay, so when it first came out, where did you listen to it first?
When it first came out, I listened to it on a drive. I was driving somewhere and I was driving kind of far. So I think I was in the car for about like 20 minutes straight. So I got through a couple songs.
I like how 20 minutes is like far.
For like, yeah.
In the Seattle area, that's like, okay, where are you going?
20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes is like a good amount. And that's like driving constantly with no traffic.
Yeah.
So that's when I listened to it for the first time. And... Oh, but I had already heard the first song or the second song, the one that has the new music video on it too. And when I watched the music video the night before, I was so like, "What the fuck is this music video?" that I wasn't really thinking about the song because when you see a music video, you expect like a lot of things to be happening, but the song itself doesn't have a lot going on in the sense of like lyrics. It's mostly just the sound. Mm-hmm. Especially like the second half of the song.
Yeah.
So anyways, my first impression, because of the music video and kind of just the theme of it all, was like, eh. But then when I actually heard the song while I was driving, I was by myself. I was driving like, you know, no traffic, so driving freely. I love the song.
Yeah.
You know?
And just for you guys know, wait, what's the name of this song?
Falling Back.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Okay, cool.
And I love that song. And then I listened through the whole album, and then on the way back, or I listened through like a good amount of it, and then on the way back,
you can't listen to the whole album.
Yeah, you can't listen to it in 20 minutes. And then I listened to it on my way back, and then I listened to it for the rest of the day, and then we listened to it again at night when we were like hanging out, editing or whatever. And then I listened to it again today.
It sounded the best at night, though.
It sounded the best at night when we were hanging out, chilling in the kitchen. We were both like, we had the nice like moody light on, and we had some candles going, and we were just like hanging out. We were drinking some wine.
We were working too.
Yeah, we were working, but it
Yeah.
was like a chill working. We weren't
Yeah.
like, ooh, at work.
No, I just want to paint the picture properly. Maybe people think like we were doing some other shit, like, you know, candles.
Oh, no. We were like working on the computer. But yeah, so personally, I would say that I think it's good. I think what Drake wanted to achieve with this album, he did.
He really did.
He really did. And for all those people that are saying, I think there's the theme around Drake in general that now anytime he puts anything out, everybody's already like, oh, it's trash, it's Drake. Like people are they're like ready to be proved in that sense. Nobody's looking forward to like Drake with a kind of like, oh, I'm sure that shit is fire.
What do you mean proved in that sense?
Like people already like can't wait for it to be trash, or can't wait for it to be like not as good as they expected to or something.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't hit, they don't even like really try to make it hit.
That's what I was saying to someone. I was like, you know, they said it's not that good, and I talked to so many people about this, right?
Yeah, I haven't talked to anyone about it.
And, you know, a lot of people were like, this is really trash. But also, there's people who, because, you know, when you look at the genre of the album, it says dance.
Really? I didn't see that.
If you're expecting R&B,
even though
rap,
it is like R&B dance.
Exactly. But it's not like your
typical R&B that you like we think about right now.
And if you don't like that kind of music, then obviously, you know, like you're not gonna love it. But I think, like you said earlier, what he wanted to do with this album, he really achieved.
Yeah.
And my first listen was on the couch right here. And I thought,
whenever something comes out, Yoni's like, Ali, the new album is out. Don't talk to me for the next 2 hours.
Don't talk to me for the next 2 hours because I'm going to replay that shit.
Yeah, and he has like the big headphones on.
And I'm just like, that's it. My day is done. Don't call me. My phone on like do not disturb. Anyways, so first listen was on the couch, and you know the first song came out. I mean the intro, it was perfect. Like the perfect, like, you know how
I love when they make like an intro song, because you're like, okay, this is like a journey.
Exactly.
And actually, the first time I listened to it, it accidentally was on shuffle.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So, but it was only like the third song. And then it was on shuffle, and then I had to like go back.
When you listen to a new album that comes out, if you listen to it on shuffle, I don't think we can be friends.
It defeats the purpose. Because like an artist puts in the effort. Like there's a reason why some things are in order. It
needs to be like cohesive. Like, okay, this song ends this way. And sometimes it leads into the next song.
Yeah.
Right away, you know what I mean? So, man, I really love the album. I've been listening to that shit. Like,
we've been listening to it nonstop.
But you know what's funny? And I don't want to get off topic.
Yeah.
But Kendrick Lamar's album was really, really good.
Okay.
And has it been 2 weeks since it dropped?
It's been longer than 2 weeks. It's been like a month.
A month, right? Everyone was talking about it, and I feel like now nobody talks about it.
Because there's also...
So the human attention span, is it really that short?
It's pretty short. But it's not necessarily like that people don't listen to it anymore. But
I mean, I guess
when it came out, everyone was like trying, like they want to experience that. You know, and everyone is playing because especially it's like it's a new thing.
It's happening at the
right
same
now.
time, right?
Yeah. But
But then
after you listen to it for a long time, then it's like whoever's new album is coming out, that's the next thing you're going to talk about. That's the next thing you're going to keep listening because it's also new. This is like the first couple times you've listened to it.
Yeah.
You know, so you're going to want to, like, I'm sure in a couple days, I might not play the Drake album from start to finish. You know, we might add a few of the songs to our playlist. If you want to check it out, it's on Spotify.
It's called Just on Chill Days. Just search it up and you will find it.
Yeah. But before that, I was listening to our playlist like all the time.
Yeah,
but
same.
I was just going to say that I think I'm a big Drake fan. And I would say that his last album, the one that was like super anticipated because it was
CLB.
Because it was really delayed. That one didn't hit because that was kind of like Drake doing like Drake. But it was a letdown from what I think I expected. Because if you go back to his last albums, I can't remember exactly, like the one that has like
you have Scorpion and then you have like
Scorpion is like one of my favorites.
Yeah, Scorpion is crazy.
Scorpion and Views, is that the other one?
Views, I mean, the one before.
That's old.
I mean, Views, and then the one before that was, I don't even know the order. But the one with his dad on the cover, I think that was
that one.
More Life.
Yeah, so for me, More Life and
Scorpion.
Like Scorpion also for me, it's like I grew up in Toronto. I was there for a long time. So whenever I hear any Drake song for me is like, it's like it signifies the city, signifies like my time there.
Yeah.
So I have like a specific connection to it that just the Drake sound is so specific and unique. Nobody can recreate it ever because his voice is also so specific too.
Yeah, I think Nothing Was the Same is also another really good album.
That's really old.
But wait, we're not going to do a whole Drake
we're not going to do a whole Drake episode, but I'm just saying that I think in general, people are now, I personally don't listen to Drake for his rap songs. Mm-hmm. I listen to some rap, but I'm more of like into the R&B, like singing vibe. Yeah. And that's the Drake that I like and appreciate. So for me, this album is perfect. Yeah. When you told me, I hadn't listened to it yet, and you were like, oh yeah, it's actually, everyone's saying that it's like, because he's mostly singing and there's no rapping. I'm like, oh, perfect. Because I love the singing Drake. And I love the like emotional.
I like both, but I mean, he does both at such a high level. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess it just comes down to like what you prefer, like rap or R&B.
And this is like, I can't wait to, exactly, because you told me before I listened to it, you were like, I think I didn't listen to it in the right setting. Remember? Yeah. You were like, this is the type of song that you listen to when you're like, it's summer, it's hot out, it's nighttime, but you're like somewhere on the beach.
It
or
has
like
to
on
be
a
nighttime.
Rooftop.
It has to be nighttime. Maybe daytime too. I don't know. But for me, it has to be nighttime. One last thing about that album, right? Or not even just about the album, but so many people on the internet would love to say what other people say. So let's say everyone is tweeting, this album is trash. And that's like the
consensus. Like everyone agrees.
Everyone would
jump on that.
Even if you like it, you almost like kind of don't want to be the only person that actually likes it.
Especially because it's a trend to hate on Drake right now. It's really like...
I mean, I don't know if it's a trend, but I get what you're saying. It's not a trend.
Compare it to years ago. Recently, because Drake's
People can't wait for someone who's at the top for that long to fail. It's like LeBron.
Exactly.
People cannot wait for LeBron to miss a shot.
For some reason, it's not the same with like other artists. Nobody's thinking about that way with Kendrick.
Okay, yeah, but when you're the...
or J. Cole. I mean, I guess J. Cole is kind of
I'm sure there's people, but this is like
compared
getting
to, I know, but just compared to Drake, he is like the LeBron of the industry.
Yeah, exactly. So, which by the way, a lot of people disagree with what you just said, but this is not a music podcast. So maybe we could do like a whole episode about music. If you want us to do that, we can, right?
Yeah, I'm like, if you care at all.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's probably like a couple people listening like, yo, the title says your 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Today... I'm actually really excited about this one.
I'm really excited about this episode too.
Well, okay, I just want to paint a picture, okay?
Okay.
We are at two different ages.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people were saying that they feel like your age is kept a mystery for some reason.
And you know what's even funnier than that?
What?
I met a couple of my friends at the coffee shop, right? And I was telling them about my website and how I like my photography is on there, so you should check it out. So they Googled Yoni Ikoto. And then when you Google Yoni Ikoto, and I kind of left, right? Because I was doing my own thing. So then they called me back, and then they were laughing, and I didn't know why they were laughing. And then I was like, what's up? And then she was like, you know what pops up on Google when we Google your name? It says Yoni Ikoto age.
Oh,
So
people are
so it's like
Googling what your age is?
yeah, and I didn't know that Google even gives you that information. Do they?
I don't know.
Yeah, so anyways, and I thought that was so funny. So since it's a mystery, I am 31. I don't know if, I feel like we've said that before.
We've said that before, but I think when people, like maybe they didn't listen to that specific episode,
They don't know.
they might not know.
I wonder if people think I'm like 22.
I don't think so.
Maybe
I think
like
people
25.
know that you're older than me. I think also people know how old I am from like people that watch my YouTube videos. They obviously know how old I am, but I wouldn't randomly be like, oh, Yoni, 31. Like, what?
Yeah. So this thing about age, I just want to say real quick before we get into the episode is that I'm a person who embrace age, okay? And I'm not even trying to sit up here and act like, oh, I need to defend my my being 30, because usually a lot of people would look at that and be like, oh, he's like
Old.
quote unquote older.
Yeah.
You know, which I am older than you, right?
Right.
But just in life in general, like you're still young.
Yeah.
If you know me, I literally feel like I'm still like what age? Like
25.
20.
Not
What?
20.
Okay, whatever. But I'm just trying to say that I never lied about my age, and I always just embraced age, right? So I look forward to being 32 and 33 and you know, getting to 40, because I'm sure you heard me say that before. I love old people, you know, because life, you never know when this shit is going to end. So each year that you're adding, you're actually
Are succeeding at making it through.
Yeah, exactly. Some people didn't even make it to 30.
Yeah.
So, and I know some people who lie about their age. Maybe they feel like they're like a little bit older than the whatever group they're hanging out with. So if you're like 30 and you're hanging out with a bunch of like 24-year-olds and you're just meeting them for the first time, maybe you might want to say you're the same age as them. I don't know. People lie about shit like that, which I get it. You know, I'm not even judging anybody.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that. You know, you shouldn't. And especially this now that my age was like such a mystery. I don't even know how. You never said my age ever? Like, I'm sure.
I think we have.
I think it's just one of those things. If you missed it, you missed it.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are Googling and putting my name and saying age at the end of it is hilarious. But anyways.
Yeah. So my birthday.
So anyways.
So my birthday just passed this past week. It was, right? Yeah. It was on Tuesday. And I turned 23. And that's kind of what made me think. And I also graduated. That's another thing that happened.
At the same time. You're so lucky. Like, nobody gets to graduate and then 2 days later have their birthday.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, so I graduated college. I got my bachelor's.
Congratulations. Clap it up.
Thank you. And then a couple of days later, I turned 23. And it made me think about your 20s. You know, I think there is a lot charged and kind of put in this or capped in this between 20 and 30 that...
Wait 1 second. You never thought about your 20s before you graduated? Because you've been 20, like you've been in your 20s.
I know,
already.
but I don't, for some reason, once I turned 23, I felt like I'm really in my 20s.
You know
because
what it is?
Because when you're 21, 22, you're still a student.
I know exactly what it is.
You still kind of feel like you're not really an adult yet. Because you're still, usually, most people are still in college or something. What are you going to say?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's the fact that you graduated and it's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of feels like now I get to live my 20s because I don't have school anymore. So I have more free time. What does that mean? And it kind of, obviously I'm really excited to be done with school. Like, thank the Lord. I feel so free. But at the same time, I kind of got this feeling of like, now I have to start like living because I am young. I have so much time. There's this weird kind of idea around your 20s that you're supposed to have the best time of your life in your 20s. Everybody always says your 20s are the best time of your life. It's when you're supposed to be living the best moments and best experiences and be your coolest self and whatever. And then in your 30s is when your life should be like already established and lived. And then at 30, you're supposed to kind of like get married and start a family if that's what you're doing, you know, and that's where you kind of are settled in your career path and whatever. But in your 20s, it's as if that's the time when you're supposed to like fuck up and party hard and hook up with hella people.
Which is not wrong necessarily. I don't know where you're going with this.
But I also don't think is necessarily right. I think there's a lot of emphasis that goes on a multitude of things, and they often contradict. Sometimes it's the idea of like your 20s, you're supposed to figure it out. You're supposed to get your shit together. You're supposed to really craft your path and like the direction you're going in your career and all that. This is when you're really having to figure out your life. But you have to do that while you're also having a great time, living your best life, having a lot of sex and a lot of different relationships and I don't know, have a lot of friends and travel a lot and experience life and just have the best time of your life. Everybody says your 20s are the best time of your life. And I don't know why, but that puts so much pressure on this small portion of your entire life that it like gives me a lot of anxiety in the sense that it makes me feel like I'm not living how I'm supposed to. I'm wasting my time.
I think that became more of a thing maybe as also social media grew.
Yeah, because now you can see what other people are doing that are the same age as you.
You can see it every day because I remember like when I was 25, right? Or no, I was already here in Seattle, but back so I was in Belgium when I was like 22, like 23, right? And I just remember I was playing basketball and social media was not what it is today.
Yeah.
I didn't have that pressure for some reason. Like I didn't feel, because I would just take it one day at a time. I didn't think, obviously, like I would think about things that I want to do, but I was so just like in the moment. I wasn't scrolling all day seeing what, whoever's doing. And then there's also like comparing your age to everyone else, right? Okay, like she's 21, but she did this and that. And
right.
I'm, whatever, 24, 25. And
I still like live with my parents or something.
I still live with my parents and I'm still a virgin and like I never even had a serious relationship. Yeah. And then like, it's very easy to compare. Yeah. When I was 20, that wasn't so in my face. Mm-hmm. Everyone was mostly just doing their thing. So I feel like for you now being this age now in 2022,
it accentuates.
It's like the worst it's ever been because all you see is just what other people are doing. So you start to think like, wait, did this person even graduate? Or
it's like you're seeing all these people that are, like traveling. They're like, oh, I'm going to go live in all these different places for 5 months. And that's amazing. That's great. But then that's not a reality for a lot of other people. I don't know. I think
the problem is that you're comparing yourself to what you see instead of just...
But I think the expectation...
From who?
In general.
When you say in general, it has to come from somewhere like
from society. Like there's this notion that your 20s are supposed to be this like incredible, messy, finding yourself, experimental time in your life.
Okay.
And if you're at the end of your 20s, let's say... and you're 27 and you're like, I haven't experienced shit. I've just been living life, but I haven't done anything out of the ordinary. And I haven't necessarily had that much wild stories or whatever. Or you feel like once you're going to have kids, your kids are going to ask you, oh, what were you like when you were 25? And you're like, I don't know. I wasn't doing shit, anything crazy. I was doing, I don't know, living life, but not, you know what I'm saying?
I think I know where that comes from is that usually when you just think about it, before you have kids, you do want to do things.
Yeah, because once you have kids, obviously you can't travel.
Things change. You can't tell me that once you have kids and nothing changes. No.
I mean, if you're hella rich, maybe.
Exactly. But when you're 20s, like to me, how I see the 20s, that you want to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You want to make the most mistakes you can in your 20s. You don't want to do that shit in like 30s or 40s. Because,
but what does that mean? I think we often say
Okay.
you want to make mistakes.
I'll tell you what that means.
What does that mean?
That means that I want to
Take
move
chances.
Yeah, I want to take chances. I want to move out of my parents' house, and I want to take a chance. And it can be risky. I might have to do, month to month living with someone, maybe having 5 roommates, 8 roommates. See how that is. You
Pick
experience.
a roommate that's fucking horrible and you didn't know. That's a mistake. But you know from next time.
Exactly. Like, have like some drama in your life, and just kind of like you learn so much about yourself by living with other people as well. And I get the people who say, well, I want to stay with my parents and I want to save a lot of money. If that's cool for you, if that's what you want to do, that's perfect. My whole thing with 20s is that do what you want to do.
Yeah.
To me, nothing like, I came over here when I was 23, and, when I graduated, I could have went back home to Belgium, but I was like, you know what? I just want to stay here.
Yeah.
That's like, when I tell people like my full story, they're like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, I'm in my 20s. I don't care. I can go home to Belgium tomorrow if I wanted to.
Yeah, because you're really only responsible for yourself. That's the thing.
And whatever was going to come with it, I dealt with it.
Yeah.
How bad it was, and trust me, it was bad at one point,
Yeah.
But you always have, I think, see, when you do things like that, you have to have like some kind of a vision, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to go take a risk, usually a risk,
It's like,
you align that with a vision or a dream
yeah,
or a goal.
a risk has an outcome that you're trying to
You
reach.
can't just take a risk and you don't know what the fuck you even want to do. That's
Yeah.
like, okay.
But at the same time,
you get what I'm saying?
I would say that, like, for example, if let's say I went to, I don't know, Paris or something for a trip, and I bought a one-way ticket, and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to come back, but maybe I just want to, go there. I find a random job at a cafe. I start learning French.
Meet people,
Make friends, and then who knows, 5 months in, I'm still there and I'm actually living there. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to just stay.
Yeah, and
Maybe I don't have a specific goal in mind, in the
Yeah.
sense that, like,
I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna get to
I'm
that.
staying here because
Yeah.
I'm going to do this in a career wise or something like that. Maybe it's just like, I really fuck with this place. It really makes me feel good, etc. And then you just kind of stay there.
And that's one of those things that, okay, it is considered like a risk,
Yeah.
but I think when people do stuff like that, you're really truly like living your life, right? But you also have to be able to afford it. Because a lot of people was like, yo, I would love to do that, but can I do that?
Right.
No. So what the fuck
Right.
am I going to do in
I do
Nebraska?
think that often enough. Oh, in Nebraska. I was going to say that sometimes we have to really, like, if we want to take those risks, we have to be smart about them, and you don't want to be reckless. I think that's another thing that, like, oh, in your 20s, you're supposed to be reckless. Like, don't worry too much. Just live life, all that. It's like, no, come on. You got to be, like, you are an adult. You got to be an adult. You got to think through things. And you're preparing yourself for when you have kids, and if you do, and when life is going to throw more shit at you, you have to be ready for that. So obviously you got to be smart about your choices. But I was going to say that perfect example is us saying how we're going to move to New York.
And we definitely are moving
And
to
how
New
we're
York.
definitely planning to do that. And how we even said, we were like, if there's any time that we're going to move to New York, it has to be within like the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Because
If we don't move to New York now, we'll never do it.
Exactly.
We'll never do it.
Especially if, let's say, we don't do it within the next couple of years. And then we really, like, I personally really maybe plant roots with a job here or something. I don't know. But I think the biggest thing would be, like, if we start having kids and let's say we have a kid and we're here, it's going to be very hard to leave, I feel like, once you have a kid.
Yeah, because Seattle is a great place to like raise a family. So we're going to get comfortable and be like, this is like a safe place. It's good. We know.
And we have to
things
worry about
here.
this kid. It's not just you and me anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just telling someone about this yesterday. I was like, the reason why we want to move to New York is because first of all, last time we went there was in December, and you and I, we both know how like inspired we got there.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like how inspired
And
we
also
were.
how much like I felt like the city was,
I've never seen Elliot talk to that many strangers in one day.
it was like
Elliot hates
changing
talking
me.
to people.
No, but I really felt like the city can make me grow as a person.
Oh yeah, I saw that shit in real time. Like I
And-
went to the bathroom and then I come back and you're just having a full-on conversation with someone.
But also in the sense that like the city is so big. I want to live somewhere where you're constantly, as you said, constantly inspired. You go, you meet new people, you go around different areas.
What's inspiring about New York to you the most?
For me, the fact that it's abundant. Like it's abundant with everything you want. It's like it could be its own country. It should be. I mean, it's like there's so much of everything there. And for where I am in my life right now, maybe if I was 35, I wouldn't think the same thing. But right now, because we're speaking around age, where I'm in my life, I feel like this is the perfect time where I want to go somewhere where I have too many choices, where I have so many opportunities,
Yeah.
and to be in a place where there's always shit going on. I want to be in a place that's loud. Obviously, we got to still record the podcast, but you know what I mean. I want to be in a place where people are out on the street at a Tuesday at like midnight, just walking around because they're coming home from the bar or from a dinner or something. I want to feel safe when I walk on the street because there's people on the street all the time. I want to be able to walk on the street.
Because when you're walking on the street and there's nobody there, that's when it's like the worst, because it takes one person to be there
Yeah.
that
And
wants
it's
to
just you
do
and them.
wrong, and then it's just like, okay, it's you and that person.
Yeah.
No one else
Like-
is there.
Yeah. Anyways, there's many reasons why I want to. It's just about experience, like experiencing the fact that like
It's also just different kinds of people. Everyone there, it's very just like straight up with you.
Yeah.
Like they don't really do small talk. I always tell people the taxi situation. Remember, we
Oh my God,
landed
yeah.
in like New Jersey or like Newark, right?
Yeah.
And then, can I tell that story real quick?
Yeah.
So we see like a taxi lady, and this is like in the airport still. So I'm sure she's there to maybe like guide people, give people rides, direct them, maybe not direct them where
I
to
think
go.
order your taxi or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So we were like, okay, how do we get to Brooklyn? We've never been there, right?
No.
So I felt like I was like a little ant in like a huge ass city. So we looked at the lady. It was like, okay, cool. Let's figure out if there's like a train or like a Uber. Okay, like we get on the app. Uber is like $120.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, what's another option? Anyways, we looked around, and then we was like, you know what? Let's just go talk to this lady and see what she tells us, and then walk up to her, and just how we do it here in Seattle, like you ask everyone how their day is going.
Yeah.
Most of the time here, it's like, hey, how's it going? Or like, how are you? So I walk up to her. You didn't talk to her. You didn't want to talk to her, right?
No, I was like, we can figure it out. You don't have to talk.
She looked like she wasn't going to be the nicest, but I was like, you know what? Let's just figure it out. And this is like the first New York person I ever talked to.
Yeah.
So I was excited. I was like, okay, let's go. So I walk up to her, all happy, walking up to her. Hey, how you doing? And then she was like, where are you going? And I was just like, oh, Brooklyn. And then she was like,
Where in Brooklyn?
no, I said Brooklyn. I don't know if she asked me where in Brooklyn, right? But then she took a minute. She was typing some shit in on the computer, and then she was like, okay, 120 or 140, whatever. And I'm just saying this because the only two things she told me or cared to tell me was where you going and how much the price was.
Yeah, she wasn't trying to say.
She didn't
like,
care about how
you doing.
She didn't care about where I came from.
Yeah.
She didn't care about none of this shit. But
If
if this
you were-
was
Go ahead.
Seattle, there will be some kind of like small
Oh
talk.
my God! If that was Seattle, the other lady would have been like, "Oh, I'm great. How are you
Welcome.
doing? Welcome to New York, like or New Jersey, whatever.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Blah blah blah. Like
I even asked the lady, I was like, what's the best way to get to Brooklyn? She was
she
like,
was
I mean,
like, well, I'm gonna give you a taxi if that's what you want. That's why I'm here. Like I'm not here to figure out the best way for you. I'm here to just give you this taxi.
Literally, this is how she was acting and saying shit. So anyways, we ended up not getting the taxi because I got irritated and I was like, okay, thank you very much. We're just gonna get an Uber. I kind of like purposely didn't want to get that.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah.
The point, I mean, I just brought up the New York thing just because I would say that is something that in my mind, I'm like, we got to do this when, like, we're like right now.
Before we have kids, yeah.
Yeah, before we have kids, because once you have kids, it's just, even though I think like there's plenty of people that have kids that live in New York, so you can have a kid and live there, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
But
and we'll see how that goes too.
Yeah, but I think experiencing, I guess everyone's idea of like having cool, interesting, risky experiences in your 20s might be different. For me, I would love to see what it's like to live in a different city than I've experienced before. You know, so moving to New York, being there for a while, seeing how we like it. Before that, maybe we want to travel a little bit, see different places, things like that. Like, it makes sense to do that in your 20s. But the part around your 20s that kind of like I don't love and that stresses me out, and maybe it's simply somebody feels maybe the other way, but for me, because I'm not a person that my lifestyle doesn't focus around like going out and partying and I don't know, dating around, because obviously I'm in a relationship, because that's not in my lifestyle, but that is a big focus of your 20s, it feels like a weird kind of contradicting thing in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're
like
talking
maybe,
about.
Remember how you used to tell me like you would hang out with some of your friends and then they're all about like, oh, let's go to the club, like let's meet some girls, like all that. And then
it's so funny.
Girls also have the same kind of thing too. And it's, in a way, for me, always, like recently it's been feeling kind of weird, or I feel singled out because I have a lot of friends that are single and then I'm just the one that is in a relationship. So like on that front,
yeah, I
can't really like relate to certain things. I don't know.
You know, I think you actually can't relate to like a lot of things. When you're in a relationship and you have a friend that's single, like her state of mind is completely different.
Yeah.
Because
and the lifestyle and the things that they like do.
Yeah, or care about.
Yeah.
Like I was telling, I don't know if I told this story before, but my friends wanted to go out and I was like, cool, but just so you guys know, I don't like clubs. I actually never did. Even like when I was like younger, or like when I was in Belgium, like I would go to a club maybe if it's like somebody's birthday, or maybe it's like my cousin's, whatever. Yeah. It has to be a special event, not just a weekend. Mm-hmm. But to a lot of people, when it's weekend time,
it's club time.
It's time to turn up.
Yeah, which honestly, I get it. But I never thought it was time to turn up. Yeah. Like my ideal weekend is like, let's go get food, let's walk around, let's go to a few stores, let's go to like just that type of shit. I want to continue with the story. Sorry, go ahead. No, not even that. Like the other day I was driving and it was Sunday, right? It was Sunday, 11 p.m. And there were people, because now we live in Cap Hill, we see like a bunch of clubs around here, right? Yeah, because this is like where people go out. And there's people literally, and it was kind of raining that day too. Sunday night, it's about to be Monday, and it's 10, 11 p.m. and people are standing in line waiting to get into the club. And I see people like showing ID and then they're going in there. And I was just like, yo. That's a whole other shit. You guys are, you have a whole different life. Yeah. Because you're part of that club culture, which is its own thing. And I feel like we should do a whole episode about that. We should. And I don't even like judge those people or fault them because, you know, I don't know how their life is. Yeah. You know, maybe they're single and that's what they want to do. It's cool. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good party, and sometimes I might be in the mood to like go to the bar. I like bars. I just personally, I'd like to, like when I go out with people, I want to be able to, you know, have a conversation. When you go to the club, you don't go to the club to talk. Yeah. No, you're right. And so I'm going to finish the story, right? So I tell my friend, hey,
I'm down to go to a bar or something, but please just don't fucking take me to a club because, you know, they know I'm in a relationship and that I don't, and on top of that, they know that I just don't like clubs, you know? So, oh yeah, Yoni, don't worry about it. We'll go somewhere else. So I wasn't driving. So I got in the car with them. They came and picked me up, and then we get to Cap Hill, and then we got to like a parking lot. I was like, okay, guys, I know this is not a bar. This is not a chill place. I hear music from the parking lot. So it's not that I hate clubs necessarily. So anyways, so I see the line and, you know, we're standing in line and, you know, I'm like, okay, cool, you guys, this is a club. But I mean, we're already there.
Yeah.
So we get in the club. I just see people bumping into me left, right, drinks spilling on my shirt. Everybody's yelling. And, you know, we get to the center of the club and I'm just trying to get to a corner to where I can just stand. Because I'm already like, most of the time, I'm the tallest person in the club. 99% of the time. So I will never be on the dance floor. You know, because all like the attention is like, look at that tall guy. So I'm just like in the corner up against the wall drinking or whatever. So anyways, that's what I was pretty much doing the whole night. But the thing that I hate the most about the club is that I know that I'm in a relationship. Okay. And when I go to a club, usually people love to, would you say that people go to clubs to
get some?
Not get some necessarily.
Meet people, like to like get some later.
Meet people, talk, or trying to dance with them. And you know how
like do some like sexy, cute shit.
Exactly. Yeah. We all know how dancing in the club can get, right?
Yeah. I would say that's like a huge, like maybe 80% of it.
And I'm trying to avoid that because I just don't, even though you might say, I don't know what you might say, right? But
what?
You know, about like me, I think we talked about that.
Oh, we already talked about this on an episode.
Like me talking, dance with someone else. But I don't even want to put myself in a position to where someone, like obviously I can just tell someone, hey, I'm in a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
But I just hate doing that because why the fuck are you here then?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you doing?
It feels like if you are in a relationship, why the fuck are you at the club?
By yourself without your girl.
Yeah.
So I was standing there, and then like, you know, a couple girls came over and talked, and I was talking to them. I told you that I talked to them, right?
Yeah, you told me.
I was talking to them, whatever. Hi, how you know, how are you? What are you doing here? Who are you with? Where are you from? What's your name?
Yo, like how do people talk all that while the music is bumping?
And I'm just talking, and I was just having a good time, just talking to. This was to me was literally I'm about to just talk to this person for the time being, and that's it.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So what's
my point with this was that I don't, if you're in a relationship and if I go out, I want to go out like with my partner, you know, like I'll go out with you. By myself, and that's on top of me just hating the club. So I'm just saying it's the worst combo when it's me and I'm single and I'm not single. I'm in a relationship and I want to go and my friends want to go to a club. I just hate going because
because it ends up being that you have to deal with people coming over at you, and then it's like you gotta like navigate the whole.
And then if I say I'm in a relationship or I don't want to dance with you, they're looking at me like I'm a weirdo. Like, why are you even here then?
Yeah,
you just want to stand here.
So like the question is the club like for single people?
I don't know, but that's kind of like off the topic.
That's off the topic.
Yeah, this is just, I don't even know how the fuck we even just got here. I just wanted to.
But I do, to wrap up just this whole idea, is that I feel like I should want to, like, you know, get fucked up. Or like.
You want to get fucked up?
No, I don't. But I'm saying in that idea of like in your 20s, I should want or be more into or try to, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Or try to like get fucked up and like have all these like experience. I don't know, but I also got like.
Wait, so you're saying you don't want that?
I don't want that, but I feel as if I should. Sorry.
Why are you yelling at me, bro?
But I feel like I should want that.
So what are you saying?
It's like conflicting. It's a weird thing. I see other people that are my age that are like going to clubs and they're like bumping.
Bumping.
I love saying that.
Bumping. Okay, so okay, let's just figure this out, right? I have this question like in my brain right now. Do you feel like you being in a relationship, does it hold you back from doing those things? And would you want to do those things? And are you trying to figure out how do you do those things and still be in a faithful relationship?
So that's a great question. Okay, so let's unpack this, right? So if I was single right now,
you'd be out in the clubs.
I would probably go out more often.
Okay.
But this funny thing is, I would still not necessarily like it. So but it's more of a thing that, like, if you're single, that's just what you do.
You can go with your single friends.
It's not necessarily you can go. It's just what you do.
That's not what you do. Because I was single for a while. I wasn't doing none of this shit.
And you were going. You were. When you were single, you can't tell me that you weren't going with your friends to a bar, to the club, stuff like that.
I mean, I was. But
way more than you are now. Because now you don't go and I don't go. You know what I mean?
You don't go and I don't go.
No, but it's true.
Okay, it is true, but I can confidently say, and you can ask any of my friends, my family members, my cousins, Yoni does not like the clubs. That's just, you know how I feel?
I'm not saying you do.
You know how I feel when I'm in a club? I feel like I'm not even supposed to be there. It's not my scene. I look around and
you feel like what am I supposed to do right now?
I'm like, where am I? Like, what? I know there's something better that I could do. And I hate to sound like, I could be working on something, think of a new concept for my shoe. No, but I'm just saying I would always rather like be at home, chill, maybe have a glass of wine, watch a movie, have some popcorn. Like, to me, that sounds so much better.
Yeah.
Especially when it's raining outside.
Okay, but my point was that I don't necessarily, like, if you're single or not single, that doesn't mean you either like the club or don't like the club. Okay. It's not like that. Okay. What I meant is that if I was single, I would probably go out in the nightlife, whether it's a club or a bar or whatever, with my girlfriends more often because that's just what you do when you are single.
See, I get what you're saying, but someone can be listening to this and they can be single, and by just you saying that, they might think like, damn, I don't do that. Am I like weird for not doing that? So don't say that's just what you do.
I think maybe
that's what you do or what you want to do.
No, I don't know why. I think my impression is that's
what
like
you can do. Say what you could do, not what you do, because there's a lot of people who don't even like the club. You know?
I'm not saying you would like the club though. I'm just saying even if you don't like it, it's kind of like the culture. That's what I'm saying. Like if you go to a club, I would say probably 90% of the people that are in there are probably single.
Yeah, possibly.
Or 80%
or 7.
are single.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tell people or like make anyone that is single and doesn't go to the club. I'm not telling you to go to the club. I don't like the club. But if I was single, even if I didn't like the club, I would feel the weird pressure of like, I should go to the club because that's what I just know from personal experience in the past. When you're single, that's what people have done. And that's what I have done before. And that's what I have done with my single friends before. Yeah. When we were all single, we would all go to the club and try to meet guys.
Yeah.
That's just like what I did when I was single. And that's what other people have done in the past around me that were single. So that's why my idea is that.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
What?
When women say we go to the club not to meet guys, we just go to have fun with each other, right? Mm-hmm. Like they don't go.
I'm the wrong person to ask this question.
We don't get dressed up to look good for other guys. We get dressed up for ourselves and
put the makeup on. So are we just talking about the club right now in this episode?
I just want to talk about that for like 5 minutes.
Okay, so I feel like I'm not the voice for this specific question, and I shouldn't be, but I'm gonna answer it because obviously you asked me. But whoever's listening to this, don't think that if you're a girl, don't think I'm putting words in your mouth.
Disclaimer,
yeah. I don't ever want people to feel that way. this is a conversation between you and me, and this is my opinion and my opinion only.
Okay. Hey, you guys get ready for this shit, right?
No, but so, because I feel like we've talked about this in the past a while ago. And my thing about going to the club with your friends is that my experience when I was going to the club, I had a summer when I was in Toronto. I had just turned 19, and I had been away from Toronto and all my friends there for a year. So I hadn't seen anyone in a long time. I was super excited to see everyone. And I was finally 19. Sorry if you hear that in the background. There's like people walking in the hallway.
We actually have neighbors now who talk.
Yeah. But so I was super excited. And at 19, that's when you can start going to the club in Canada.
Toronto?
Yeah, 19, not 21.
Can you drink too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, shit.
So 19 is the legal age. So I was so excited because I was able to finally experience like the club scene, especially because in Seattle, obviously I was 19. I couldn't go to the club yet or have a drink or anything like that. So when I went full force in it. I'm like, guys, let's go. Let's get fucked up. Let's go to the club. Whatever. I wanted to experience all that. And my friends also, all my friends were older than me.
Sorry, I want to pause real quick. Were you nervous the first time you went to a club? Because for some reason, the first time I ever went to a club, I
didn't know what to expect.
I was so nervous.
I wouldn't say I necessarily was nervous. It's not so much nervous. It's more like anxious because you know you're about to be in a big room full of hella people. Yes. It's hot.
No, but I just felt like, yo, this is my first time in a club and nobody knows it's my first time.
Oh, really? And everybody knew it was my first time. Like all my friends knew, like, oh, this is Alia's first club, whatever. Oh my God. Okay, continue. Especially because all my friends were older than me, so they had like experienced that. So we finally go, and the big thing for me was that this summer I'm gonna get mine. Like I'm gonna get some experiences. I was gonna, meet some guys, some whatever.
That was your goal in your mind.
In my mind, it was like packaged in there with other things too. It was like, I want to go to the club. I want to experience nightlife, and part of that is also like meeting guys and having a good time.
Okay.
That was all in the package.
I have a question, but I'm just gonna wait.
No, go ahead.
When a group of girls go to the club, right?
Yeah.
They get dressed up, looking real good.
My type of friends.
Can I finish my question? Or?
Well, I was just going to say that my type of friends, when you say like, get dressed up, look really good, whatever. I go to the club in bike shorts. Like, what? I wasn't going to the club in like a short skirt or a short dress. I was always wearing pants. So it was either like longer, like maybe tighter like jeans or something and like a crop top, or I was wearing like some baggy like cargo pants with the crop top, or I was wearing like biker shorts with an oversized t-shirt. I was going like, that's what my club look was.
You wanted to get real comfortable to dance, seems like.
I was there mostly. Yeah, exactly. I was never really wearing...
It's like, I'm going to the club and I'm going to dance tonight.
Yeah, I was maybe wearing some like
I'm wearing sneakers,
white jeans. Oh yeah, I never wore like anything but sneakers.
I kind of appreciate the girls who go to the club like are ready to like dance and sweat.
Yeah, but that was my friends. Like all of us, that's like what we were. That was the vibes. Yeah. People went in like jean shorts and like a tank top. It was summer. It was hot as fuck. Toronto gets so hot. It's like New York. So that was the vibe. And so already it wasn't like because your question was like, go get dressed up, whatever. We weren't really getting like dressed up like that,
Got it.
What was the rest of the question?
No, and that's it. Oh yeah. So, do women like think, okay, tonight, one of us needs to get some.
Yes.
Like we need to get something.
Again, this is my personal experience, my personal friends.
A lot of people think that's not true, or women might say that.
I can't speak for those women.
We don't go for that shit.
I can't speak for, because I'm sure that there might be women who go to the club,
and there are, by the way, not might.
Yeah. I just don't know them. I have never met them, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
All of my friends that I know, especially obviously the ones that are single and not in relationships, like, and me personally with my own experiences and my friends when we were in Toronto and all that, like, I was single at the time and so were all of them. And while you're getting ready you also are pre-gaming, so you're drinking a little bit, trying to get loose. Drinks are expensive.
What's your favorite go-to drink on one of those nights? Can you just share with us?
Well, if you go to the club, I would get like a gin and tonic. But before that, we're probably like drinking some wine.
What kind of wine?
Maybe we take some shots, like white wine, because it's like hot. It's like hot summer, so you're drinking like cold white wine.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm just saying that like before, when you're getting ready to go out, you're drinking a little bit. Everyone's probably talking about like, I don't know, different shit that maybe is not even related. But I do know that in my experience, we would say that like I remember for a fact when we would go to the club and I was quote unquote unsuccessful, not in the sense of like I didn't go home with somebody or I didn't like have sex at the end of the night or some shit like that. I just mean I wasn't successful in the sense that we went to the club and nobody danced with me. That's an unsuccessful night. And I'm not even saying that's how I just felt. I know that's how all of my friends felt at the time. If that happened to you, if you went to the club and all your friends
and nobody came and talked to you,
no guy came to like start dancing with you, it was like an unsuccessful night. Like in the sense that like obviously you still had fun and you were still had fun, but it wasn't like
but there was a thing that wasn't complete.
Especially if all your friends got someone's attention and you're the only one. I remember for a fact there was one night that nobody came and danced with me, but everybody had their own little thing somewhere. And
how did you
I felt so shitty at the end of the night. But it's so stupid to think about it right now. Yeah.
No, but I guess it kind of makes sense because if all of your friends got some attention from someone and you're the only one who didn't get attention, even me, I would think like, damn, like I wanted some attention. Everybody wants attention.
Everybody wants attention.
So it's normal. Like I'm not even trying to sit up here and act like I don't care about attention. Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like,
especially if you're like all going with that sort of like, not necessarily that's 100% your attention, because I don't want people to think that like I was just going there to hunt. It's not like that. But at the same time, it's a big what?
Or to be hunted.
Or whatever, yeah. But at the same time, I think it comes packaged into the whole like club nightlife experience. And it doesn't have to be that you go, you meet someone, you start making out, and then you're like, oh, let's go back to my place. Like, it's not all that. It doesn't have to be. But I just think that for me, part of going to the club and the experience is like, I'm single, I go, I hang out with, like, I get to go with my girlfriends. We get to pregame, get ready together. It's all cute. It's all fun. We walk to the place. And don't get me wrong, that whole summer was so fun. But because we went out so much, we went out Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night.
Every week?
Every week. For like, I think it was like 6 weeks that I was there.
Damn. Same club?
No, like different ones.
What was the name of the club you went that you remember?
I don't remember them.
Really?
There was one that I really liked. I think it was called like Ballroom or something.
Ballroom.
Oh my God. If anyone's listening to this and you live in Toronto, I mean, Ballroom is like pretty ratchet. I feel like they probably closed it down. But that one was like...
Ballroom.
I don't know. We went in that one a couple times. We just had like, they really played some good music.
You guys want to go to Ballroom tonight?
Oh my God. But then there was another one that was like House of Hearts or like some random shit like that.
That sounds very Toronto-ish.
It sounds right.
Anything with house in it.
Yeah. And anyways, that was my club experience. And after we did that so much, I got it out of my system for like an entire lifetime that I was like, honestly, I don't want to go anymore. Because the club culture, I was like over it.
You know what's very funny?
What's very funny?
You're younger than me, but I feel like you had more club experience than me.
Really?
Seriously, because I never knew that you went on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for an entire summer. I feel like
it wasn't an entire summer. It was like 6 weeks.
It's okay if it was an entire summer. We're here to be honest on this podcast.
No, but I am honest.
So the amount of times I went to a legit club, probably 10 times in my life. I can almost remember each one, you know? And I'm not saying this because, I'm proud of it. It's not anything. I'm just saying that's how much I just don't I just fucking like hate it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I do get it.
My sister likes the clubs way more than me. She's younger than me also, and she's been to way too many. But me, I was just always kind of just doing other shit. And I'm not saying like me saying this is not like trying to shit on anybody who likes the club.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
Same.
sure it's a great place if you love it.
Yeah. And when I was doing it and we were going out a lot and whatever, I was having a great time. I was like, what spot are we hitting tonight?
Exactly.
It's a whole thing.
And
it's a whole experience. You're like, let's walk. You walk outside on the streets. The experience, like the moment when the club closes at 2 p.m. Ooh, I just hit the mic. The club closes at 2 p.m. Everybody comes outside.
Hangs around a little bit.
Everyone hangs around outside waiting
Get
for
some
their
hot
Uber.
dogs.
It's hot as fuck if it's summertime. It's a whole adventure. Every night you're like, ooh, what's going to happen tonight? Who's going to get what? It's a whole thing. And I appreciate it. And it was so much fun while it was happening. But I was single.
Yeah. So would you say, can you do all of those things while you're in a relationship?
I personally, the way that I am, and now that I've been in a long-term relationship, I wouldn't do any of that. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Would I go to a bar with like a couple friends and you?
Yeah.
100% we do that.
Yeah, why not?
But that's a totally different thing.
Should we call this podcast Going to the Club? No, okay, so I want to leave that because there's so much more about your 20s than just the club, you know?
Yeah, there is.
So, for example, a person who's just graduated or maybe still in college, right? Let's say you're 22.
I mean, there's people that continue college, get the master's or
No,
whatever.
right,
longer
exactly.
than that.
So I just want to get into like the comparison thing, right?
Okay.
So let's, for example, I'm 22, I graduated, and all of my friends are in a relationship. Maybe some of them are, even married. I don't know. It's just an example, right?
Yeah.
What do you do as the person that all your friends have serious relationships and you've never even had a serious one? I feel like that's like a social expectation and like a pressure thing that a lot of people feel in their 20s because they feel like, ooh,
It's when
I'm
you're supposed
20
to have relationships.
right? It's like I'm like 23 and I'm still a virgin.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing to a lot of people, and I don't know, like maybe some people feel like really maybe like embarrassed about it, or they feel really like shitty about it because you're comparing yourself to, like your friend that just called you and told you what she did last night, So for guys, it's very different. But I want to ask you, like, as a woman, right?
As a virgin. I'm just kidding.
No, how do you? Let's say you were that person.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, where are you in your mind, like in your state of mind? Are you like trying to just get anything, or are you just not worried about it at all? Because a lot of people can just say, I'm just gonna live my life whenever it comes, it comes. Or okay, go ahead. Sorry, I know, I'm sure you got the question.
No, so I was gonna say that. Again, speaking from my own opinion, the way that I am and my personality is that if I was my age right now, if I was 23, or let's say I was like 25, and all the people that I know and my friends are, experiencing romantic relationships, they've had relationships, messy ones, good ones, dramatic ones, they've had different like sexual experiences, one night stands, like all that, whatever comes into that whole like dating realm. They're experiencing all that, and they have experienced it. And if I haven't done much in that department in my life, and if I'm 23, 25, whatever,
27, 28,
yeah, and I just haven't experienced it for whatever reason, my personality and the way that I am, I would definitely be doing shit to do it, to figure it out, to get it done. You know what I mean? Especially if
what do you mean?
Like, I wouldn't just, because you're like, are you somebody that consciously is trying to do something about it? Or are you someone that's like, you know what, when it will happen, it will happen? I'm not like that.
Like, you'll do something about it.
I will like be on the apps. I will, go out. I will maybe go to the club, even though, I wouldn't recommend getting it done at the club, if you know what I'm saying. But like, don't meet people at the club for relationships. That's not really, doesn't work like that. But if you are trying to get a little bit more experience in the dating department in general, I just overall think that whatever age you're at, experienced or not, but especially when you're not experienced, you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to do something in order to make things happen, in order to meet people. You can't just expect it to happen out of nowhere because it's most likely not going to.
You have to put yourself out there.
You have to. You have to make the effort. You have to reach out to people. You have to, text people on those apps. You got to go on dates, bad ones until you find a good one.
You're not going to find... I just want to say, so in 2022, I feel like the stigma on online dating is kind of like going away a little bit. Yeah. It's normalized now.
Oh yeah, I definitely would say that too.
And there's nothing wrong with like being on an app, meet someone. If they're cool, you vibe with them, cool, go on a second date. If that goes well, and the thing is, you have to be really honest with that person from the very beginning if you wanted to even give it a real shot.
Honest in what way?
No, just like be yourself.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they really see you. So then there's no like expectation, like surprises somewhere down the road. They're gonna be like, "Yo, who's this?" Right? And I don't know. I mean, that's how we met, and this is almost like 4 years later.
Yeah.
So shout out to Tinder, by the way. If you ever want to sponsor us, Tinder, hit us up. Okay?
We're a success story.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you have to put yourself out there, and then also you can't expect everyone to be perfect.
No, you cannot expect that you're going to go on a date and it's going to go well.
And you have like all these check marks that this guy or girl has to like check. Okay, do they have a job? Where are they working at? Do they live with their parents? Okay, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have like standards, but just like be open to just understanding everybody got a different life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think even just going on dates that are bads, even going on dates that are bad, you're learning shit about yourself as well.
Yes.
Like, what do I not like? Or what did I say this time that I probably shouldn't say the next time?
And it's not even so much that. It's about getting used to talking to somebody in a date situation.
Exactly.
Being good at dating
have
takes
experience
practice.
in that. Exactly. Yeah.
If you just never go on dates, you're going to consistently have that anxious feeling that I haven't been on a date. I don't like, what are we going to talk about?
And then let's say you land on like a really good date
that you actually really like the person.
That could have been the guy, but because you just never went on a date, you fucked up.
Yeah. And that guy's probably like, yo, what the fuck?
He's going to think like, yo, this girl's kind of weird a little bit. I'm good. I'm not, boom. And now you lost.
And exactly. And I was also going to say that you mentioned, having the boxes of like your standards and all that. You also have to like maybe think about like, what is it that you're exactly looking for right now? And I think that it's never like you should go into a date without being like, especially when you're in your 20s, since we're on this topic.
Yeah.
When you're in your 20s, are you trying to get married? Are you trying to find a husband?
Yeah.
Probably not. If you are, that's cool. But I'm just saying, I think majority or a big chunk of people are probably not trying to get married right now in their early, mid, even late 20s.
Yeah.
So when you're on an app or when you're going on a date with whoever you met from wherever, don't think about it as like, is this person the one? Are they like, just like, if maybe there is something you don't like about them.
I'm sure there's something they don't like about you either.
Maybe, but I was just going to say like, not all the boxes need to be filled because you're not trying to get married to this person, most likely. Because you probably don't know you want to get married to that person until much later. And at the beginning, Yoni and I, we kind of didn't like each other that much.
We didn't like each other that much, honestly. We barely went on a second and third date.
Yeah, our third date was saved by, some spicy sexting.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. We were like, okay, well, and that was in my head. I was like, he's got a cool vibe, but it might just be like a little like fling or like a little physical situation. It might not be like a relationship thing.
And that's okay.
And that's totally fine.
Don't just go on dates and thinking, oh, I can't marry him.
He's not husband material, so that's it.
So
There's other things.
So I'm not going to go on a date with him. First of all, you guys went on one date. How can you even see that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And with us, it wasn't until like later, like a little bit later, maybe, I don't know, like our 5th or 6th time we were hanging out, that I felt like, oh shit, like this could be something more than just, you know, a physical thing or like friends or something.
Yeah.
But it took time for us to get there because it takes time.
Yeah.
However much, like, it just takes time.
Yeah.
Simply put.
And also our timing was a little different.
What do you mean?
Just with who was ready for the next step first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was always like, so what are we?
Elliot was like, so, like, where are we in this
Like, what
thing?
are we doing?
And I'm like, yo, this is week 2. And you already asked me that. But I mean,
All I'm saying is that I think it's not the most productive if you're especially someone that hasn't experienced a lot of stuff when it comes to dating. Don't judge someone in like super intensely, like point by point, hair by hair, freckle by freckle. It's like, bro,
you just met them. And
you are a person and they are a person.
And also, you don't know how much they wanted to share with you on that day. The more you meet people, the more they'll open up to you.
Yeah. So
on the first day, you know, everybody got those butterflies at first. Oh, it's the first date. Like, what am I going to say? What are we going to talk about? It's kind of like a little bit calculated if you're one of those people who do it that way, you know?
True.
Go on like, unless they're like really just a douchebag, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and if you obviously like.
That's easy to tell.
Yeah.
You know, but if they're cool and you just kind of like pinpoint like a couple things that you don't like, go on more dates and you'll find out more about them.
Also,
you know?
Let's say they don't have a job. Let's say their job is, or maybe it's a job that you don't necessarily think, like, I don't know if people's jobs are a big thing that you look at when you're looking at the people that you want to date. Who knows? For me, whatever job you had, I didn't really care that much. It wasn't a focus for me. But I know there's people that look at, oh, he's, I don't know, a bartender. And then they're not really cool with that. They want somebody that has a more like stable 9-to-5, like $100K a year job or some shit.
Yo, when you met me, I wasn't even making like a lot of money. I was just doing photography full time, but
I didn't even care. For me, that was what I liked.
I was barely like making my rent, getting my food, you know, like paying my little bills that I had, and I was like in my little room that I had in the house. I was so happy. Obviously, there's things that I wanted to get to, but you met me at a time where I was like pretty low, and I was like hustling.
That would turn away a lot of people in a way.
I thought it was gonna turn you away.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, yo, as soon as she come, I was like, yo, do I invite her over to my place or should I go to my friend's house? And like,
oh my god,
no, like seriously. So, and then when you came over to my place, I was like, you know what, Yoni, it is what it is. This is me. And this is what I do, and here I am, you know?
Yeah,
but I was just honest.
But I do know that there's people that they care about that stuff in a way.
That shit will turn them away.
At the same time, I was just going to say that you should use the whole, like, what is it that you're trying to get in the same, like, how do I say? Like, calculate that equally to how much you want them to have a job or have a house, or I don't know what people care about. But I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to just date and to experience dating and to experience people and how to deal with different people and different communication styles and different relationships and whatever else, and physical experiences with people, whatever fucking job they have does not matter. The job that they have might matter later down the line when you're thinking like, damn, I kind of want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Then that becomes more important, or maybe not.
Yeah. Did you say that's something you liked about me when you first met?
No, I was going to say that you being an artist and like a photographer, that's like a thing that for me, I was like, I really liked about that. I wasn't looking for anybody that was, in a more conventional job in a general, because at the time I was also like really big into the dance world and all that, and I was still dancing. So I just know that like when I was meeting someone else that was also an artist would understand me more. You know what I mean? So that for me, I was like, we would align a lot on that. So, but there's other people that might be like, oh, an artist, like they don't have a, like whatever salary people want people to have. It's like, who cares? Like you're meeting the person, not the salary. And just because somebody has a job at fucking Microsoft as an engineer, that doesn't mean like, what does that say about who that person is?
Yeah, nothing.
Not a lot necessarily.
Unless you're just one of those girls who just go for whoever has the most money.
Yeah.
And just with that, I just want to say, you know, good luck with that.
I just think that dating should be a little bit more simple than like, you know, no need to make it too difficult for yourself and too high stakes and intense.
Yeah. I never really went on like a lot of dates. For some reason, I was just always kind of like, you know, whoever I'm going to date or like whoever I'm going to meet, it's going to come to me. I was never really much of a like chaser.
I get what you mean.
You know, and even though like my friends tell me like, yo, you see that girl right there? She was looking at you and she was like, I have a hard time. Not that I'm not confident, but I have a hard time walking up to somebody and just really trying to get like
her number or something.
Their number or something. Like I would be the person, even if I know that you're really interested, I will take so long because I'm comfortable. I'm not rushing. So if I know you like me, cool, let's keep hanging out. I'm just going to be myself. I'm not going to make necessarily, and maybe that's like a turn off to a lot of people, but I'm not going to always
make like a big move.
Like, hey, like what's your number? Like if I already see you every day at school or whatever, or let's say I have your Instagram or whatever, right? I'm not gonna, I don't know, like to me, things happening organically is very important for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you asking for someone, their number is not organic, because that's like the most organic shit there can be, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm not, like, I almost don't care about that necessarily. Like, I'm going to see you when I see you. Like,
and it's funny because we're very different in that sense, because I want to know exactly like
what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say I'm like wasting my time?
What do you mean?
Like I waste a lot of time.
Well, in our
and I know that I do, because I have some friends who will get to the same point that I would get to like a month later. They will get that shit done in like 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I asked her this. We talked about that. I got her number, and we went on a couple of dates. Me, I would just drag this shit for like 3 weeks, and just be very
I
like
would
nonchalant.
say, like, that is annoying for a girl, especially if like the girl likes you.
Oh.
And I know for me, in our relationship at the beginning, we've talked about this many times, I think, that I was constantly feeling like he's acting like he wants to be with me. He's acting like I'm his girlfriend. He's acting like he likes me a lot. But anytime we would talk about it, it would not be like what comes out of your mouth about our relationship would not match up to the way you treat me. And I know you're going to say, but wouldn't you rather me treat you
would
like
you want to
this?
be treated than just hearing words from me?
But why does it have to be one or the other? And we're not going to get into this because we've talked about this so many times.
You want to have both?
Yeah. And I did eventually have both, but it really took some time for me to get it out of you.
Yeah. Anyways, I think we can get into some questions. I think we got a couple good ones. No?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Someone said, I don't know how people live their lives planned out. I'm 24 and still don't know what I'm doing.
I would say that most of the time, life doesn't go according to plan.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
And also just being 24, by the way, you're very young.
Yeah.
24, society made 24 feel like if you don't have an idea of what you want to do right now, you're like behind. And which is not true.
It's so funny to hear because just really quickly on I at my graduation, our commencement speaker, he was like a Tony Award winner, like producer, actor, filmmaker, whatever. And he had a job switch when he was in his like late 30s, I'm pretty sure. He said he was working in like some kind of tech situation, like something very techy. And then after that, he was like, you know what? I need to follow my passion. And he switched and went into filmmaking and acting and all that stuff when he was like in his late 30s. So nothing goes according to plan. And people change their careers all the time. So maybe right now you think at 24, you're saying you have no idea what you want to do. Maybe you have no plan. Let's say in a year from now, you're like, you know what? This is what I want to do. But then 10 years from then, maybe something else comes along. Like you just don't know.
Yeah. Like at 24, I thought I was going to be a professional basketball player. That was like my whole thing. I just wanted, photography was not even in the picture.
At 23, I thought I was going to be hired at a professional ballet company. I was going to be dancing every day. I was going to be on stage. I was going to be paid from dance. I was going to be like in that world. And I'm so far away from that. And if I went back in time and I told my like 18-year-old self that this is where you're going to be at 23, I would have been so mad that I failed, quote unquote,
in dance.
That I failed like what I was trying to do then, and that I am doing this random shit. Like, what am I even doing? I don't really know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But you got to take it, like, especially like you're just 24 is hella young.
24, if you want, like, for the next 3 years, if you just want to fuck up and do
and
random shit,
different paths.
3 years. Listen, 3 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
In 3 years, this girl would be 27, and you're still only 27. You have time to, like, I don't know who was the actress that she wasn't doing anything until she was like 28. Was it 28?
There's some actors
30,
that
like Paula Patton. Like she just started having like this acting career late 20s. And before then, I don't know if she was like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong with my age here, but I just remember she was kind of like, quote unquote, like later in life.
Yeah, like a lot of people start when they're really young.
And for me, I mean, I don't know, like I never really stressed about that. Like I'm 31 now, and there's still so much I want to do with photography. Like I'm not even where I want to be with photography.
Yeah.
I do know that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I found that out when I was like maybe 25. I was 25 and I was like, this is going to be it, and that's it. I don't care how long it's going to take or what I got to do or how hard it's going to be. I was committed and I was stubborn, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you have to stick with it. And I'm still sticking with it. I haven't like made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever that means. But yeah, so anyways, don't stress about it. Just relax, take your time, and you know.
And really pay attention to like the things that you like in life. I think we've talked about this in the past before
and
too.
Try
like,
things.
Exactly. Try things. Look for random jobs that maybe are not super career specific, you know? But just like, I don't know. Just look at different things that you're interested in. Like go towards those, but also they don't have to be, I don't know. I just feel like I just, after graduating and seeing like all these people graduating, and it was like 7,000 people that graduated all at the same time with different degrees. And I was like, that's hella people that are probably not going to end up actually doing what they went to school for. And there's many people that might not even ever use their degrees because they might end up going in some other direction. Who knows?
Did I ever tell you about that? My friend that has a photography degree, and she sees all the shit that I'm doing. She's like, Yoni, I literally have a photography degree, and you're inspiring me to do shit with photography. I didn't even go to school for this shit, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, we got another one here. Someone says that they feel anxious, and she says, I feel like I'm missing out on enjoying this age. She didn't specify which age she is. She said she feels like she's missing out and she's not doing the things that she's supposed to do at that age.
Yeah, well, probably like around 20s.
Yeah, probably something like that. And I mean, that's kind of like what we just answered. I mean,
yeah,
you feel anxious. That's just literally society making you anxious.
Yeah,
because you're comparing yourself to everyone else.
And I think that like in my own kind of struggle with that type of anxiety around what you should be doing around this age and experimenting and everything we talked about so far, I think the conclusion I'm having is that I have to just fuck all that and do what I like. If I don't like to go to the clubs, if I don't like to get drunk or drink a lot or, you know, do drugs or whatever the fuck you're technically doing in your 20s. And if I like to go to a farmer's market for fun, or if I like to
on a Sunday,
and if I like to just go thrifting by myself for hours, or if I like to go to a bookstore for hours, and that's like my fun for the week, if that's just what I like to do, I just have to own up to it and be like, this is what I like to do for fun. And that's it. It's your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Someone said the transition between teenager and adult life is more complicated than I thought. So where do we draw the line here? Oh, I guess teenager, I guess from 19 to 20?
Yeah. Except I feel like, I don't know.
20, I don't think you're an adult still.
I really think age has
age
so much
is
to
weird.
do with the person. Because
Age is
I
weird.
personally always felt like I was, not to be like, oh my God, I'm still mature. But I really felt, because of my life and my experiences, the fact that I had to live away from my family and that
You grow so much.
I grew a lot. And a lot of people are surprised when I tell them how old I am. Not all the time, but sometimes.
I think
because
most
they think
times.
that I'm older than I actually am.
But that's what I liked about you, by the way, too, because remember when you told me like that you were younger, and I was like, yeah, but you seem like so mature.
Oh, when you started dating?
Yeah, and also too, the age gap, there's people, it's only like weird, I guess, if someone is like 18 and dating like someone who's 30. But then if you take that same 12-year gap and you put it like
Between someone who's like 27 and like 42, or
it's
that's
all
not
of
the
it.
right math.
Yeah, it's not it's
Whatever,
not,
but you get the point.
yeah, it's like, I don't know, like it's the older you are, because my parents, their age differences, I think it's like,
My parents is 11 years, and ours is like 9 or 8.5.
yeah, and I think my parents, I don't know, it's more than 10. I know that for sure.
I think you told me it was like 12, but maybe not.
12 or 13, and I know people who have, it's not that big of a
But
deal.
I really think it could be depending on the people, because if
you're very immature,
younger person is super mature, and let's say the older person is really like, maybe they're like even older than they are in that sense. Like maybe they're 30, but they're more like a 40-year-old
Right.
in their personality, in what they like to do, in their sense of like life and perspective.
yeah, and just common sense shit.
Yeah. And that's totally fine. But then that becomes a problem. But let's say, I feel like in our situation, in a way, I am a little bit more mature than, let's say, the average 23-year-old. From like on some things in my life, I'm immature maybe in other ways. But then you are also, let's say, a little bit more like young spirited.
What do you mean? I'm still young.
Then no, I'm just saying.
just
Then like
kidding.
another person who's the same age as you.
Yo, I know another person. This dude is like 32, so he's like a year older than me. But I swear, like, I thought he was like 41. And which is cool. Like, you do you, right?
Yeah.
But I just hate this thing about, if you're 30 years old, you're supposed to just like act like you're 30. Like you're supposed to just be serious, like dress a certain way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, I can be that age and dress how I like to dress, still handle my business, and kind of like handle my life. I don't have to necessarily change my voice and just be like more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I totally get what you're saying. And that's why I think it
Like,
works
I don't
for
know.
us, because we kind of meet in the middle. And
We do. I
the
feel like you
age,
meet
like
me.
I never feel like you're older than me ever.
Yeah.
Ever in our relationship. Maybe like at the beginning. I think at the beginning of our relationship there were some things that I was more immature in, but that's also because I
you-
didn't have
you
a lot of
also grew.
experience.
You also grew a lot since then.
Yeah, but I just mean at the beginning, that's when maybe our age difference, I like felt it a little bit when it comes to the like relationship experience, that I just didn't have a lot of relationships before you. So there were some things when it comes to relationship things.
Do you remember what some of those things were? Or not really? Not really, right?
I don't remember. Like we would make plans, and then if you would cancel, I would be like really mad, or I don't know.
We'll never
Anyways.
forget about that. All right. Someone said, I feel like I'm wasting my 20s doing stuff I hate, working jobs I hate, and like it's my last chance.
They feel like it's their last. I think they probably mean that they feel like it's their last chance to figure it out. Because like in a way, it feels like when you reach 30, that's like the end. Like whatever you're with at 30, you're stuck with until you die.
Oh my God.
Which is so stupid.
It's so stupid. Don't even think like that. That's
It's
like
like, you know, and I hate the idea that
who makes us think like this though?
I don't know.
Is it the movies? Is it like
It's a combination of like several things.
because when we say society, like what do we really mean?
We
like
mean
society exists in what world? Like in the air?
Society is what your parents tell you, what you see around you, how you hear people talking about age in movies and media, stories, like different. There's so much, you know? But I was going to say that I hate the idea that we are supposed to only have one path and one career and one kind of like career job for our entire lives. And I hate that. And I literally hope that I will have several different things that I do. I hope that at one point I will maybe have my own restaurant, or I will work in the food something. I am not in that at all right now. But that's something that I would love to do in some way or the other at one point in my life. It might be when I'm 30. It might be when I'm 40. Who knows? At another point, maybe I want to write a book. And maybe that book can be really fucking good. And that's the whole thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that's so dope, because you literally only have one life. And I think it's so wasted, honestly, if you do just one thing.
Yeah.
Honestly. Anyways.
Like for me, for example, I do photography now, but another thing that I would love to do when I'm maybe like in my 40s is like filmmaking. It's still in the same world, but I feel like it's like the graduated version of photography for me, like making short films, maybe documenting, go to like Cuba or India, or just documenting like little kids, how they live, how they like play sports outside. Just make like a really like heartfelt short movie. Maybe even if it's like 15 minutes, you know, like directed by Yoni Koto. That would be so dope. Like I see myself doing that in my 40s.
I see yourself. I see you. I see you doing that, yeah.
You know, that'd be so dope. And after that, you know, I kind of just want to do those two things. I don't want to do 7 things. I don't want to just those 2 things.
Yeah.
But see, it's just good to know what you want to do at some point.
Yeah. I do think that...
I'm not saying you're supposed to know that when you're 24, 23, 30, but you have to be in search for it. Don't just live life and just think, you know, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. And if you live like that and you like it, that's good for you. But I think it's important to have an open mind and
find something that fulfills you, because...
And just think, what do I like? Like, talk to yourself. Like, go on a road trip by yourself. Just think. I'm a deep thinker.
Yeah.
So I love to think about shit like that. But I know there's people who don't think about none of this shit we're talking about here.
And think way outside of the box. Think way outside of your reach right now.
Yeah.
Because you can do it. Like, I think it's just we often limit ourselves because we just think, there's no way that I would be able to do that type of job. There's no way that I could get close to this type of thing. Why?
Yeah.
Especially now, we have the internet, we have accessibility to so many things. You can do it.
Yeah. All right. So we have another person who said, I feel like I have to get my shit together and at the same time live like a young, careless person.
It's that same kind of like
You
balance
I
thing.
feel like you can do both. You can get your shit together. Wait. So, I mean, being a careless person is not really necessarily a good thing. At least I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless you live with your parents and you don't have to pay bills, you can be careless.
I think careless, like what does careless mean in this
Careless
context?
means, like you go to the club and you get fucked up.
Why are we always talking about the club?
You get blacked out.
Okay.
That's being careless. Wake up the next day hungover.
Go to your job, you're like, yo, I'm fucked up, but it's
Fucked
funny.
up. Actually, even more fucked up. You just forget you had to go to work the next day. Like, you're just careless. I don't think that's good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like maybe there's other things like careless. I don't know. I can't think about it right now. My brain is kind of scrambled at this point. I feel like we talked about everything.
It's a lot of club talk.
Yeah.
All right. Next person said, we're raised to believe that we need to have our shit together in our 20s and it's final. Bullshit. You're still young in your 30s.
Honestly, I was going to say that.
Honestly, I agree with you.
I feel like we already said this, but I was going to add that I feel like I actually thought
That 30 was old. I know.
30 was old.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago.
That's what I thought.
But
Until I got to 30 and I was like, wait.
it's so funny, but I am so excited to be 30 because I feel like 30 is the new 20.
Ooh, 20 is... Wait.
No, 30 is the new 20. Like 30 is when like I'm No, 30 is like I know who I am. I'm a person. I have like all these feelings I need to like say all at once. But 30 is like, how do I explain it?
Yo, you should have seen Ali's face.
Oh my God. That's
That
why
should-
we need to make video. Of
That
this
should
shit.
be the title of this podcast.
What?
30 is the new 20. Ooh. Maybe.
Maybe. But honestly, I'm more excited about reaching 30 than like being in my 20s right now. Because my 20s is so like, but when you're 30, it's like, I don't know, I feel like you're so your person. You're so yourself.
I'm myself.
At 30, you're like, fuck it. I'm just going to be me.
I feel like that's where I am.
Yeah. 20 is like, who do I want to be? Like, you're still figuring yourself out.
But that's what I did too. All throughout my 20s, I was like, photography is now, basketball is not really working out and I'm going to try this brand new thing. It's photography. I always love to like capture shit. So maybe I should like try to take it more seriously. My friends told me to do it.
Yeah.
Got into that and I was like, wow, you know what? I actually and I fell in love with it. Yo, I started shooting with my iPhone 5 and I went outside every single day to take photos with my iPhone. Ali is yawning right now because I said this story so many times.
Sorry.
It's an automatic reaction. I understand. And I really did it every single day and I was like addicted. And I was like, you know what, this thing might really be my life. And I'm still doing that till this day. So
And I mean, look at the different level that you're doing it at.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just see where it takes me, All right, we got another person who said, your 20s are fun, but I don't think it's what everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah.
Why did I
agree.
read that so wrong?
I don't know.
Everybody.
Yeah, I would agree.
20s are fun, but to me, my 20s were not. I'm going to have way more fun in my 30s and 20s.
That's what I think too.
My 20s was because I really care about like what I'm going to do in this life. I want to do something.
Okay.
So in my 20s, I was just trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
But I wasn't putting
But now you're actually doing it.
Exactly. But I wasn't really putting a lot of pressure on myself. Like I'm not overthinking it. I was just open to everything. Photography, like before photography, I never thought about photography. I remember there used to be like photographers that would come to our basketball games and I would be like, yo, can I get that photo? Did you send me that photo? Or like I would always just ask for the photo because I wanted to see myself. Anyway, so then you never know. I came to America to play basketball and I end up doing photography.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I even like came to the US was basketball.
Yeah.
So anyways, you really have to take a risk. And I was taking a risk because I didn't know where photography was going to take me.
Yeah, especially because the idea of like a photographer
It's not easy to make it, first of all, in photography.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah, exactly. So when people think of that, they think like, oof, not secure job, struggling, like,
Exactly.
you know.
You just have to not give a fuck and stick with it and see where it goes. I still want to find out where it goes.
Yeah.
Anyways, you want to read a couple?
Yeah, I'll read a couple. Somebody said, I constantly feel like I'm being judged for being in a serious relationship in my 20s. I guess that comes from the fact, like we've already talked about, where in your 20s, you're not supposed to like find your person. In your 20s, it's more like you're supposed to experience dating several people and make like have a bunch of different relationship experiences, messy drama, all that shit. No?
No. With things like that, I was just waiting for you to finish because
Yeah, Yoni was like constantly shaking his head.
because this is so weird to me. If you found love at 22, you found love at 22. That's it. Like, I don't know why you have to go to the whole phase in your 20s. I guess because you want to have some experience.
I would say that it is nice to have a little bit of an experience with other people before you like find your person and you stick with them. You know what I mean?
That is very true.
It's like you don't want your first person that you date and like have sex with. That's like your person for the rest of your life. You know?
And
Some people might find that cute.
Then you're only going to have you're only going to sleep with them for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You haven't experienced anything or anybody else.
Yeah, I think that you should definitely experience some other shit. So maybe, that's what I'm saying. Don't look for somebody that checks off all your boxes because you don't want them to.
Exactly. Just look for someone who can check one box.
Or a couple.
Or a couple.
Yeah.
You know, what was the question again? What
No, it wasn't a question. It was more just saying like she feels judged that she's in a serious relationship and she's in her 20s. Because
whoever's judging you, send them the link to this episode and just let them listen to this whole thing.
And give them like this timestamp.
Yeah.
Someone said, I'm 31. There's a lot of social pressure I found myself dealing with throughout my 20s. And to basically, quote unquote, be someone by 30. But that's complete nonsense. I'm still discovering myself. Don't put a timestamp on your life. You don't realize how much you don't know until you're older.
I need to just take a picture of that and put it on a t-shirt.
Oh my God.
And just wear that every day because what she said was so true.
Yeah. Or he, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
I think we just love time and we use time as a guide for like many things in life all the time. That I think the idea of age in the perspective of a lifetime, it just has become such a big part of like how you conduct yourself in a way, especially in the early times where it's like, okay, now I'm 23. What does this mean? Now I'm 25. What does this mean? And it's a point where like people, like sometimes I have friends, most of my friends are older than me. And someone's like, oh yeah, I'm turning 27. And I'm like, that's dope. Like what is 27 going to bring you? And I know that whenever I bring that energy, people are like, yeah, but you're younger. And it's like, I'm always going to be the younger one because I always hang out with people that are slightly older than me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like someone who maybe is 19, like maybe think that when I'm 23 or like 25 or whatever, that's like much older. But I don't know. I just feel like every age is going to bring you something new and different, and you're going to grow and you're going to look at yourself, be like, the person I was at 21 compared to the person I am now at 23 or 22 or 26, so different. I know so much more.
When I was your age, I was completely a different person.
Yeah.
I would not be able to sit here and have a conversation like this and actually say, I'm not saying what I'm saying is like, everybody knows the shit that I'm saying. It's like, you know, but I'm just saying at that age, I wasn't thinking about like, I think it was around 25 or 26, 27, 28 that I really became aware of like my mind or like the things that I like to think about on a daily basis, you know?
I just think that we always have this impression that we, in a way, yes, like we develop and we grow and we become ourselves in like the beginning years of our lives. Like when you're a teenager, those are very formative. You really are developing into your person. But then when you go into your 20s, that continues. And then when you go into your 30s, that also continues. Yes, the change of your personality and what you like and what you think and your opinions might not change so dramatically like when you're younger, but you don't just stop growing as a person once you reach 30 years old. That just doesn't make sense.
And everything we're saying kind of goes to like even like the 40-year-olds. If you're listening to this, I don't want to like make it seem like we're not even addressing anybody that's older than 20 or 30s.
I mean, because
but at 40, you know, I don't even want to say anything because everyone's life path is just so different. And so, yeah, I don't want to like really say something that's like, yeah, at 40, you should know who you are.
Yeah.
You should, you know, but that would be ideal though.
What?
To like know who you are at 40. I think at 40, you can be like,
I
okay,
think
you know.
I also think the whole idea of discovering who you are and all that's like, how do you know when you know who you are?
What?
Like,
how do you know when you know who you are?
Yeah, like how do you know, when can you say, I know who I am? And when do you say, I have no idea who I am? I've never had those distinct things.
Yeah.
Like I just am. I know what I like. I know what I do. I know what I lean towards. I know what I don't like.
I think I can say that I know.
Like when would you say you knew who you were?
When I got in this relationship. Yeah.
Really?
Because you really, I always knew that I was a family man.
Oh my God.
I always knew that I wanted to have one girl, like one partner. I wasn't really into sleeping around and trying to see how many girls I can sleep in 1 year.
Sleep in?
No, wow. Sleep with in 1 year.
Gay grandpa.
You know, and there's a lot of guys out there who take pride in,
That
I
type of shit.
slept with 40 girls. Like that's like in their lifetime. They hold that it's like a prize. It's like a, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
I never cared about that. I actually don't think it's even like impressive. So okay, cool. So I was just gonna say I always knew that I just wanted to have a family, have one person, and then do what I love, which is photography, and just also build something with my partner. You know, like this podcast, for example. Like I always knew that I just wanted to have like a simple life, but that's like full of the shit that I love.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. I don't care about whoever's gonna talk to me when I walk down the street, and I don't care how she looks. I'm gonna like, oh wow, nice to meet you. I might even give her a compliment. You know, I actually like your hair, but I'm good. You know, have a good day.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, so I just feel really lucky that I am like secure that way, because it's very easy to be tempted by shit that's around you. There's so many distractions.
Yeah.
You know?
And not necessarily like relationship wise, distractions when it comes to like what you want to do career wise.
Exactly, what you want to do career wise. And, you know, and if you're in college and you feel like you need to change major 2 times, 3 times, whatever, anytime you feel like you need to change it, I don't know what you're going to say, but I honestly feel like you should change it, because what's the point of completing something that you already know that you really don't give a shit about? Changing that major might cause you to maybe be in school a little longer.
And pay more money.
But isn't that so much more like worth it for like life is long, bro?
Yeah.
So
I do think with that point, I do think it really depends and it's circumstantial.
I don't feel like I really explained it the best way.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if, for example, if I went into school and I was a psychology major,
Neighbor.
We've been talking for a long time. If I was a psychology major and then I changed my mind, then I was like, no, actually, I want to do like anthropology or something. In that sense, like it might not have such a huge change, like drastic kind of alteration in your life, because they're still, not that they're similar, but they're not like, it's not like you went from being in nursing school to being in like French, like a major in French or something. You know what I mean?
Like French class?
Like French, the language.
Oh.
You know, like you can major in like different languages.
Yeah.
So I think it depends.
Yeah, it does depend.
All right, this is a little bit of a long one, okay? Somebody said, maybe it's because of movies and stuff, and of course what I see on social media, going out partying every weekend, going away every month or so or whatever, but that's the quote-unquote influencer type of life. I'm pushing myself to be out there, so I can't blame it on something else if it's not what I expected, as in like being in your 20s. If it's not what I expected, it's because I'm not doing those things, you know?
Right.
I feel like being in your 20s is about having fun and being happy and dating, but it's also about losing yourself and finding yourself back, trying to know what you want and figure out how to get to where you want to go or be. As much as I want my life to be exciting and fun and colorful, it's not, and I think it's my fault. So I think this person is basically saying like, even though your 20s are supposed to be like fun and colorful and exciting and risky or whatever, if that's what you want it to be, you have to make it that. But if that's also not who you are, don't make it that. It's kind of like what we've already said, and how like I constantly feel conflicted in the sense that I see that like in your 20s, you're supposed to kind of do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But you only like A, B, F, and G. Well, then just do those and fuck the other ones if they don't match who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then if you do want to do those, it's up to you to also do C and D or whatever it was left over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, we overthink so many things for no reason. You know, so take it easy, sit back, get a glass of champagne, and just, you know, live your life, bro. Honestly, everything will be fine.
Yeah. Every day in your 20s is going to be fine. Every day in your 30s is going to be fine.
Exactly, because if you just stay healthy, you're a good person, you have your little job that you're able to just, you know, pay your bills and have food. You're a nice person, people like you, and you're just a genuine person, and you're healthy, and you care about your health and your mental. I'm sure like most people will be just fine, will figure it out. You know, like there's no need to like stress about, oh my God, am I a failure in this life? Blah, blah, blah. I never thought about that way, you know?
Yeah.
I was actually never stressed about like really the future. Not saying that I knew I was going to make it in or whatever, but I was just, I always knew I was going to be good.
Yeah.
No matter how low I was like, I just believed that I just, you know, in whatever I decide to do or whatever life will throw at me, that
I will do it.
You can overcome shit. There's always like a solution. You know, I hate to sound like preachy and shit, you know?
Yeah, no, but I do get it.
It's so true.
Yeah. And I actually really feel that way now that I graduated. And I'm kind of like, okay, I'm doing my YouTube stuff. I have my internship. We're doing the podcast. But it's like, I do feel like in a way that now that one thing of my life, because I was doing all that and college, now that college is out, in a way it feels like, okay, I got to bring some new thing in. But I don't have to. Yeah. For now, I'm going to do what I'm doing right now. But I do know that at one point, my internship is going to be over. That's going to go out. I might get a full-time job with them. Maybe not. I don't know. That's not really up to me. It's out of my control in a way. But who knows? And I'm very excited to find out and see. When my birthday comes up again and I'm going to be turning 24, I can't wait to see what the fuck I've done. You know?
Yeah. So much can happen in a year.
Yeah. So much. All right. Someone said, I am 30 over here. I would say learn to set boundaries and say how you feel respectfully. I used to be a person that hated conflict or confrontation, so I would often portray myself as someone that was always chill with things and let things slide, when in reality, I was bothered by a lot of what other people would say or the way that they would treat me. And I never really said anything about it and just avoided, because I wanted to avoid losing relationships.
Wow, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, the peace within yourself matters more than trying to keep the peace with other people who can't even respect the boundaries you set. Also, don't let other people's insecurities of themselves be a reflection of who you are. Lastly, therapy helps, and I wish I had started it sooner. I do think this is a good point, like about your 30s and like more the friendships that you have. And how I would say sometimes the idea of losing a friendship that you have, like, just because you have it doesn't mean that you have to keep it in your life. If you feel like it's not working anymore.
People get attached to time in relationship. I've known this person for 10 years.
Or even like 3 or 4 years.
And no, but like 10 is really like one of those,
like we grew up together type things.
It's like I know this person for a long time. And we're kind of, growing apart. He likes different things, and maybe I don't even agree with some of the shit that he does. But we've been friends for that long. I don't think you have to stay friends with that person if they don't bring any value to your life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every person needs to bring something to your life. Maybe you can have a person that you just call to talk about random shit. But even that's something.
Yeah.
So I've learned that in the last like maybe 3 years to let go of relationships that just because we've known each other for a long time don't mean that now we can never like not be friends.
Yeah. And also it's okay. And it's for a friendship to end.
Right. And it's also not just necessarily that we ended the friendship. We're just not going to call each other or hang out. But when I see you, we can still catch up. It's not like, I hate you.
Yeah.
And you hate me because now no, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think that there's definitely a growth that happens when it comes to friendships and how you handle them, like the older you get. And how like the idea of friends and best friends and stuff like that, it changes the older you get, because you're no longer in school, you're no longer in college or high school, obviously. And making friends in general is just a different ordeal altogether.
Yeah.
And you can't just make friends by, the people that you're around at school all the time, because you're not. You're in your own apartment, you're in your own life, you're at your own job. Maybe you don't like anyone at your job. How do you make friends? And how do you keep those relationships? And how do you keep those friendships when you no longer see each other every day? So those are all things that are part of your 20s. And I think that you learn as you grow. And if that means you lose a few friendships on the way, it just is what it is.
Yeah. But reaching out, I think, is definitely a big point that I feel like we not missed, but you have to put yourself out there. You have to be open for new things. You can't just be closed off and expect everything to come to you.
Yeah, that is true also.
So.
Yeah, you have to make the effort. It's like if you meet somebody that you really like and you click with and you want to be their friend, you have to do something about it. You can't just expect it to happen out of nowhere or expect the other person to come to you.
But that's all ego. That's all like, I reached out 3 times. I'm not going to reach the 4th time.
Obviously.
Because I have this thing I want to say, but I already texted them like twice. So I'm just going to wait until they text me.
I think that's only like in a way.
That's childish. That's that way.
No, but I was going to say that's only, I guess, acceptable if you really sense that this person is not trying to be friends with me.
Oh, yeah. You have to read. Yeah. You have to just be
you have to be able to read that type of social situation.
Yes.
But there is a difference between that, where someone clearly, they don't even want to like be my friend. Like you can just tell, or where they might not be, I don't know, whatever the reason is, but don't read too far into it. It's like, as you said, I called them 3 times and then every time we hang out, I'm the one that reaches out. It's like, shit. Maybe they just have a problem with reaching out to people. But then whenever you reach out to them, they're like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to hang out. Or I've been meaning to, or who knows?
Yeah, and also just shit happens in life, you guys, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot going on in this life, 2022. I think it's time for us to wrap it up, okay?
Yeah, I think that's our last question, guys.
And I also think this was my favorite episode.
Me too. My throat like hurts.
My throat doesn't hurt, but we have this new setup. We have the table and then we have the mic stands, and I don't have to hold the mic anymore, and this is a game changer.
Yeah.
Like I can literally talk for like another 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that, but
I feel like the setup we had before is just like,
y'all, we were like on our bed holding our mics. It was
I kept moving and Alia kept getting mad at me like, yo, why you moving? It's making this weird sound. And I was just like, yo, I gotta get comfortable.
Yeah. But now, yeah, we have a whole cute little setup. So
yeah, so this is nice.
This is probably one of my favorite episodes.
I think so too. And I know people are gonna say, Yoni, you say this every episode, but this is literally my favorite episode again. Yeah. We talked about the club thing a little too long, but I mean, hey.
But I think it was some good shit.
It was good shit, right?
You know?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was some good shit. I don't know. I've been meaning to talk about that. I feel like we might have talked about it a little bit.
No, we never did. We did that in person.
Oh, yeah, I always forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna do the outro. You wanna take the shout outs?
I've been getting pictures of beautiful dogs.
Still?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't get those pictures.
Yeah, because you don't I don't know. You just don't see them, I guess. And also, I'm the one who wants to see them, you know. But anyways, if you're listening with your dog, if you're walking somewhere, I hope you're smiling, and I hope it's a beautiful sunny day.
We hope that we made you laugh at some point in this episode.
I'm sure we did a couple times.
Yeah.
You know?
I really want to see.
I always say some silly shit for some reason.
I always want to see. I wonder what people, because sometimes we get messages when people are like, "Yo, you guys got me laughing out loud over here."
Oh,
and they're like in a random spot, like at the gym or something.
Yeah.
And I just think that would be so funny to see somebody
that.
like actually laughing because they're like listening to something, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and also shout out to everyone who's getting poppies. Okay,
that's the new thing.
We're gonna get sponsored by Poppy.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
One day. Okay.
You are seeing it being manifested right now. Okay, we've been talking about Poppy. We've been getting y'all on the Poppy train.
People are getting that shit and they don't have the shit in Europe, and I'm so mad.
Really?
Everyone is like, yo, we don't have this shit in Australia. We don't have this shit. It's fucking like wherever. And someone found it in Canada, and they was like, yo, it was very hard to find it in Canada. And I was like, and
Poppy, you gotta get yourself out there.
Yo, Poppy, come on, you guys. So anytime you tag me in one of those posts, you have to tag Poppy as well.
Yeah, because they need to know that we're like endorsing them, and they ain't paying us shit.
Anyways, yeah, we just love the drink, and it's dope. Someone in New York made the video. They went to Whole Foods and they did the whole like walking into the store looking for the Poppy, and then when they find it, they were like, found it.
Yeah. This shit is really good. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna close it out. I'm gonna go.
What you about to do?
I really want to go get some fajitas.
Yo, after this, I feel like I can't talk to you for the rest of the night.
Yeah, we can't. We're just
gonna go get some food and not talk.
Actually, no. I think we might just like hang out here for a little bit, and then we'll go get some food, get a margarita or something.
Fajita sounds good too.
A nice fajita with a little marg on the side.
Yeah, little marg on the side.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right, see you guys.